Our planet is an ocean planet, and the vast majority of that ocean is the deep sea, a realm beginning where sunlight fades. Covering more than 60% of Earth's surface, this colossal habitat constitutes over 95% of the living space on our world. It is a place of profound extremes. As we descend, the pressure mounts relentlessly, reaching hundreds of times the atmospheric pressure at sea level. Sunlight is a distant memory, replaced by the perpetual midnight of the aphotic zone. Temperatures plummet to near freezing, but can also skyrocket around hydrothermal vents. It seems impossibly hostile. And yet, life doesn't just survive here, it flourishes in astonishing abundance, evolving into forms so bizarre they seem plucked from science fiction. Join us on a journey into this abyss. We will meet its most remarkable inhabitants, uncovering the ingenious biological toolkits they employ to navigate their world. From living light to monstrous mouths, their adaptations are masterclasses in natural selection. By studying them, we gain a deeper appreciation for the planet's hidden biodiversity and push our understanding of evolution and the absolute limits of life. So how do you navigate a world without sun? You make your own light. Let's begin with one of the most widespread phenomena in the deep sea, bioluminescence. This is life itself creating light. At its core, it's a feat of biochemistry, a cold light produced when a molecule called luciferin is oxidized by an enzyme, luciferase. This process is remarkably efficient, converting chemical energy into light with almost no heat loss. It's a trick that has evolved independently dozens of times, a testament to its utility in the dark. In the deep, light is a language used for survival. One of its most clever uses is for camouflage, in a strategy called counter-illumination. In the twilight zone, faint light still filters down from above, and predators hunt from below, looking for dark silhouettes. To counter this, creatures like the hatchetfish have light-producing organs called photophores on their bellies. They adjust their brightness to perfectly match the light from above, effectively rendering themselves invisible. Perhaps the most iconic user of bioluminescence is the deep-sea anglerfish. The female possesses a fleshy rod growing from her head with a glowing sac of light at its tip, a lure powered by a colony of symbiotic bacteria she cultivates. In the absolute blackness, this tiny light is irresistible. A curious fish that swims in for a closer look is met by a cavernous mouth and needle-sharp teeth, ensuring a one-way trip to the angler's expandable stomach. But the uses of light are as varied as the creatures themselves. When threatened, the vampire squid ejects a sticky cloud of glowing mucus. Other animals use complex flashing patterns to communicate and attract mates. Then there is the stoplight loosejaw, a fish with a next-level advantage. It produces red light, a wavelength invisible to most other deep-sea animals, giving it a secret sniper scope to illuminate prey without being detected. From microscopic plankton to vast constellations of flashing creatures, bioluminescence is not an exception in the deep. It is the universal language of the abyss, the living light that defines the ecology of Earth's final frontier. Next, the giants and the bizarre, creatures whose shapes seem designed to bewilder. The gulper eel, for instance, has a massive expandable mouth that can engulf prey larger than its head. Deep-sea jellyfish and siphonophores can have tentacles and ribbons meters long trailing through the dark seeking microscopic or macroscopic prey. Another category is the blob animals, gelatinous organisms like comb jellies and deep-sea ctenophores that are more translucent than solid. Their tissues are energy cheap, which is adaptive where food is scarce. In the crushing pressure and freezing darkness of the deep sea, life seems improbable. Yet, scattered across the abyssal plains are oases of warmth and activity, teeming with some of the most resilient animals on Earth. These are the hydrothermal vents, the hot springs of the abyss, where life thrives not in spite of the extreme conditions, but because of them. The discovery was a complete surprise. In 1977, scientists aboard the submersible found shimmering water and strange life along the Galapagos Rift. These geological wonders form where seawater seeps into the ocean crust, is heated by magma, and becomes saturated with minerals. This superheated fluid erupts back into the cold ocean, creating towering chimney-like structures known as black smokers. Clustered around these vents are dense, almost alien communities. Giant tube worms, several feet long, have no mouth or gut. Their bright red plumes absorb chemicals to feed symbiotic bacteria inside them. Fields of clams and mussels carpet the area, alongside pale, eyeless shrimp and crabs that navigate this toxic, superheated world. The foundation of this entire ecosystem is not sunlight but chemistry. In the complete absence of light, specialized bacteria perform a remarkable process called chemosynthesis. They harness chemical energy from compounds like hydrogen sulfide, toxic to most life, spewing from the vents. These microbes are the primary producers, forming the base of a unique food chain. The discovery of these ecosystems fundamentally altered our understanding of life, forcing biologists to expand the definition of a habitable environment. This has profound implications for astrobiology, as scientists now imagine that similar vents could be fueling life in the dark, subsurface oceans of icy moons like Jupiter's Europa or Saturn's Enceladus. Survival at depth also drives dramatic life history strategies. Many deep fish have very slow metabolisms, long lifespans, and low reproductive rates, traits that suit stable but food-poor environments. Others have evolved opportunistic feeding. When a carcass sinks from surface waters, a whale fall, a whole succession of specialists arrives, scavenger fishes and crustaceans first, followed by bacteria that digest bones, and eventually organisms that derive energy from bone-loving microbes. These ephemeral oases dramatically increase local diversity and recycle nutrients back into the abyss. The deep ocean also harbors clever sensory adaptations. When light is nearly absent, some species maximize sensitivity with huge eyes or densely packed photoreceptors. Others, like many deep crabs and worms, have reduced or absent eyes and instead depend on chemosensation, tasting the water, or mechanosensory hairs that pick up tiny currents. Some fish use lateral lines to detect minute pressure changes and the approach of a predator or prey. Evolution finds many ways to sense a world without sight. Let's pause on one particularly strange strategy: sexual dimorphism in anglerfish. In many deep angler species, males are minute compared to females and become permanent parasites. A male bites a female and fuses tissues and circulatory systems, becoming a sperm-producing appendage. In a habitat where encounters are rare, this solves the problem of finding a mate. It's extreme, but effective. We should also highlight the importance of molecular and genomic studies. Modern sequencing reveals unexpected diversity. DNA barcoding often shows that what we thought was a single species is multiple cryptic species, each adapted to specific depths or microhabitats. Genomes also reveal adaptations to pressure and cold, changes in membrane composition, special enzymes that function under high pressure, and proteins that avoid aggregation in the cold. These molecular tricks expand our understanding of biochemical limits. Deep-sea research has also practical value. Organisms from vents produce enzymes and chemicals with medical and industrial promise, from novel antibiotics to enzymes that function at high pressure and temperature for industrial catalysis. Studying extreme life also helps design sensors, materials, and robotics for deep ocean exploration, and even technologies that emulate biological light production or antifreeze proteins. For centuries, the deep ocean was a realm of myth, its immense pressure and darkness a seemingly impenetrable shield. We assumed the abyss was too remote to feel our presence, but we were wrong. The deep ocean is not untouched. The fingerprints of human activity are now found in its most remote corners. Destructive fishing practices like bottom trawling scrape seamounts clean of ancient corals. Climate-driven changes are altering ocean chemistry, and a constant rain of our plastic waste is settling into the abyssal plains. The most imminent new threat is deep-sea mining. On abyssal plains, polymetallic nodules rich in cobalt and manganese have grown over millions of years. At hydrothermal vents, massive sulfide deposits contain copper and gold. These are the very metals demanded by our green energy transition, creating a profound dilemma. Harvesting them means scraping the seabed clean, annihilating unique, slow-growing ecosystems. Mining would also kick up vast sediment plumes that could drift for hundreds of kilometers, smothering filter-feeding animals far from the site. In an environment where life moves on a geological timescale, recovery from such a disturbance could take millennia, if it's possible at all. Meanwhile, an insidious threat is changing the water itself. As the ocean absorbs vast amounts of carbon dioxide, it becomes more acidic. This ocean acidification is particularly acute in the cold, high-pressure deep, corroding the calcium carbonate shells of vital organisms like cold-water corals and pteropods, a key food source. The changing chemistry can also interfere with sensory cues, affecting everything from predator detection to reproduction, and our pollution finds its way down. Scientists have found microplastics and toxic chemicals in the guts of creatures living in the Mariana Trench. These contaminants ride down on marine snow, entering the food web and accumulating in the tissues of deep-sea life, a toxic legacy in a world we once considered pristine. This brings us to a profound ethical crossroads. How do we weigh the demand for resources against the permanent loss of ecosystems we are only just beginning to discover? Many scientists advocate for a precautionary moratorium on deep-sea mining until we have rigorous biodiversity surveys. We need to know what's there before we risk destroying it. Others propose large-scale marine protected areas or MPAs to safeguard representative habitats, but enforcing protection in the remote deep sea requires international cooperation and advanced monitoring. Ultimately, the future of the deep ocean hinges on the choices we make now. Will we plunder its resources before we understand their true value, or will we choose to explore, understand, and protect the largest biome on our planet? The data is sparse and the race is on to gather it before irreversible choices are made. Looking forward, new technologies are transforming our ability to study the deep. Autonomous vehicles with long endurance, improved deep-sea cameras, environmental DNA sampling that can detect species from water samples, and cheaper sequencing together permit broader and faster surveys. These tools are already revealing more species, more interactions, and more complex food webs than we imagined. The discovery rate is accelerating, and every expedition typically reports organisms unknown to science. Finally, why should the viewer care? The deep ocean influences planetary processes. It stores heat and carbon, hosts biodiversity essential to global ecological resilience, and holds unique biology that can inspire technology and medicine. It is a frontier that still surprises. Understanding it is both a scientific adventure and a practical necessity in a warming, industrializing world. If you enjoyed this tour of deep-sea wonders and want more episode-length explorations of surprising, evidence-based natural history, subscribe. We'll keep bringing new discoveries from the edge of scientific knowledge to your screen.